Hello and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kenda Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have an anonymous female left behind and forward-moving spouse with a bomb drop of May 29th, 2023, a date of marriage of 2001, and she is not familiar with either energy level or contact types, though her MLCer is at least a boomerang from the very brief question. She says, we're in the middle of a divorce. He reaches out every 3 weeks. That's why he's a boomerang, at least. Why? She says. And then, second question, are there any signs to look for when they enter the depression stage? So the first thing I'm going to tell you is regarding your second question, the depression stage. You are 7 months in. And the stage that you are in now, escape and avoid, because that is what bomb drop initiates, is escape and avoid, will last minimum 18 months. So you have another year at the low end. I would not say that most of them are 18 months. Most go 18 months and over. They can go for midlife crisis itself, 3 to upwards of 7. Sometimes they are in escape and avoid for 3 or more, but I would put the general range of escape and avoid 18 months to 3 years. And that means that 18 months is the first point, not the most popular point, when they then enter the liminality or depression stage. So you have at least another year before I would start I don't want you to start looking for it, but before I would say, yeah, that's what you're seeing. So there's that, but let's answer it anyway, because it's important, right? You don't want to be told, oh, you're not ready for that. So, and you might see these things. It's just part of cycling. When you see them more consistently, even if there's not a lot of consistency, but let's say you saw this for a day. Later on, you see it for a week, and then later on, you see it for a month. You're going to see them going, oh my God, what have I done? I have fucked up my life. Pardon my language. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? What is wrong with me? There is little insight. But of course, they're asking what is wrong. They don't know what it is. So it's not really insight. They begin to question themselves. They start to say, I've been projecting this outward. Oh my God, I'm the problem. Oh my God, maybe it's me. Maybe it's not you. Maybe it's not her. Maybe it's not the world. Maybe it's all my fault. They aren't taking accountability. They just start to have this realization that they've caused a lot of destruction. They may have done a lot of damage. But what that realization does is, oh my God, I'm a terrible person. Oh, I'm so awful. It sends them into the depression stage, the liminality stage, the stage where now they face the mirror. Now they can start to go through who they are and why and what happened to cause them to do these things. That liminality stage is, I think of it as a mirror, and it's broken. So when you look in a mirror, you see self. Now, the self is broken, and they have to go through all those pieces of self they can see in this mirror and figure them out, learn about them, say, I want to keep this, or I want to transform this. This is something. This is me. They embrace me. They learn me. They have self-hatred first. Why shouldn't they? I'm not saying I want them to help them hate themselves, but psychologically, after you've caused damage, it's understandable how they are down on themselves, right? That is the depression stage. Now, let's go to your question that is more pressing for the present. And this is, why in the middle of divorce, he reaches out every 3 weeks. Why? I'm sorry, usually I often will look up and see in my list if you have signed up for Understanding Midlife Crisis, and then I'll look in and see if you've done any of the lessons. And I had not had a chance to do that yet. So I want to encourage you to do it. Go in. If you haven't already signed up for Understanding Midlife Crisis, which is my free course, it is in the link is in the description below the video. Go into there and look up the course, how to sign up for it, and sign up for that. Because that is where you're going to get some of the questions answered of why are these things happening. The first questions, why? So why might he be reaching out? Let's guess at a few things since I don't have any more information on that. MLCers do feel guilty. Oh, they try to deny their guilt, sure, but they feel guilty. They miss you. They feel confused about missing you. They don't want to miss you. They're worried about you. They're worried about what they've done to you. They're worried about if you're feeling all right. Some of them, they put a complete wall up against there and they vanish. Most MLCers aren't vanishers. People think they're vanishers because he only contacts me every month once. Or he wouldn't contact me except we have kids. Vanishers, which you don't have. Somebody who contacts every week, every so often, up to even once every, say, 2 months, I will call a boomerang. Once every 3 to 6 months, I'll call an off and on. And beyond that, so once a year, once in 9 months, I will call a vanisher. And contacts could be text, it could be email. So you've got electronic, you've got voicemail and audio, you've got in person. It gives you an opportunity. Contact is an opportunity for the flow of information, more than a grapevine. And when we talk about contact, that's what you need is opportunity. Right now, the opportunity for the flow of information might be showing signs of I'm surviving, I'm thriving, or you're getting there. And so they see that and see this person isn't a puddle on the floor. This person isn't a victim. Because that's a really bad look. Even if you are. But they look at that as though they're looking at something on the bottom of their shoe. Even though they may have done something to you to get you there. So you don't want them to look at you and say victim. Okay, and I have, while talking, pulled up your Understanding Midlife Crisis. So you have started it and you have gone through a few of the courses. So that's really good. Just keep going through more. Go back and watch the videos. And you have looked at a couple. You've looked at escape and avoid, liminality, and reintegration. And those are the ones you just had questions on, was escape and avoid. But go back understanding those first ones about what is bomb drop, the contact types. Contact types, that's basically what you're having questions on because you didn't understand those. Look through those. It's only a 2-hour course with all of the videos. But that's where you're going to understand. Also, on the main website, I have a blog that is a different address, but I link them all together. And the main website, they are full of articles. The main website is my main manuscript, if you go in order of all the articles. You will learn more and more about it through there as well. Because some of them don't contact very often. Why is yours? Because he's feeling needy. Because he's feeling guilty. Because he's feeling ashamed. So why doesn't he contact? The same answers. Because he's feeling guilty. Because he's feeling needy. But then he needs to reach out. He needs a you fix, possibly. I don't know if his contact is clinging or not, but you say he reaches out every 3 weeks. And you didn't say, we have contact because of kids. And that's the only reason. So what does he say when he reaches out? Hi, how are you doing? Hi, I'm worried about you. Hey, I just wanted you to know the oil needs to be changed on the truck. And here's where you to go to do it. I say that one example because I had one of those. That was the only message that he left. But mine contacted sometimes several times a day. So that was one of the messages. But yours does it every 3 weeks. He is also showing a pattern. That's good to know. I don't want you to put in an expectation within that pattern. But that, he's right now, in this sense of communication, he's a 3-weeker. And so you kind of know, I have a break for a couple weeks. During that time, you can work on your detachment. You can work on your healing. You have been given this giant space of time. And we're like, I'm lonely. I don't know what to do. That's not a gift. When we need to heal and we have a clinging boomerang. I had a clinging boomerang. He was constantly contacting me. Sometimes it's monster, but sometimes it's, I miss you, I need you, I feel bad. Oh, I'm cycling, I forgot, I'm coming home. Oh, I've changed my mind. Oh, I haven't changed my mind. Sometimes all of this was in a day or an hour. The problem with that is that it makes healing harder. We are constantly being fired up in here in our own anxiety, our worry, having our desires met. Yeah, I want to come home. And then the crash. It's like love bombing. And then we get hooked up in this cycle of the trauma, and it affects us chemically, and we get anxiety. It is harder to detach. Our emotions become more and more dysregulated. And so detachment with a clinging boomerang is harder. It's not impossible, but it's harder. So you have this gift of getting past certain humps on the healing journey of detachment. Because let's say he does start to do what my husband Chuck did and contact more frequently. You will have a regression on some of that healing, some of the attachment detachment. But you will have gotten to enough of a place where you have some of it that is part of your solid foundation. And you can count on that. When you regress, you'll regress to a point of the solid foundation, and then you work forward again from there. And you'll build again and again. But when they come back after a period of you having space, we do have a little bit of a, oh my God, this is harder than I thought, having contact with them so much. So right now I want you to have some gratitude for a situation you didn't want. And the situation you didn't want, I'm not talking about the separation and divorce, but that in the separation and divorce, in the midlife crisis, he is giving you space. And he's also not giving you so much space like a vanisher where you're left without closure. You're left just, I don't have answers. I can't even see erratic behavior. You're being given space, but then you're also being given some form of contact that is regular, and it's not too far apart, but it's far enough. It's not as much as a month apart. It's not as much as 2 months apart. It's regular, and it's minimal. It sounds like it's not a lot. He's giving you a gift of healing time during that. And you didn't want the gift. Take it for what it is, though. Okay, I know that's hard. I know this situation sucks. But he is reaching out, probably. And if you could explain some of the content of those reach outs, we might have more answers on the why. But more often than not, there's some feeling of missing, guilt, shame, and they won't admit that. I think that if you reached out and he was really mean each time, you might have said something, though. So he's reaching out to scream at me and project at me and tell me how it's all my fault. I'm getting the sense, because you didn't say that he may be reaching out in a more vulnerable manner. And the vulnerability may be deep down, but there is a guilt, shame, and need. I'm missing you. It's a guess. But these things in midlife, it's a lot of guesstimates that we do from generalization from looking at all of the other midlife cases. So I hope this is helpful, and I will see everybody in the next question.